what I've also got to show you here is a really nice other element of what ADSR does with their plugins. And again, Hexcel has become a real favorite because, you know, I'm a bit of a prog boy. I do love a good ARP and a good noodle, shall we say, and this has not disappointed. So Hexcel, if you're not familiar with it, works on these really lovely, like, sort of hexagonal kind of harmonic maps, and you can do these really beautiful evolving riffs that can start off with really simple arpeggios all the way through to quite complex randomized stuff. And actually playing through some of this stuff, I really found some really, really cool stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, go through some of this, because what we've actually got, if we click on default preset here, we've got like a 303 annual for Hexcel and various different elements that we've got. And I really, really, really like this. This is really cool. And again, I've got all the user presets that I've built, and also, you know, again, the various genres that you get with it. And yeah, you get a whole heap of stuff. And again, from there, you know, I've got that saved in the correct folder. But again, if we go to, say, for example, on my sample libraries, sample packs, we've also got an ADSR. We've also got things like the bonuses for the 303 annual. And you've got, again, all of this stuff, which is great. And then, yeah, you've got the actual sample pack and stuff as well. So, yeah, basically you've got all this great stuff to kind of play around with. So what I'll do is I'll introduce you to this sound, which you've kind of heard before, but so as you can see, the various emitters are just creating these like really nice, and it's a one note thing basically, but it's creating this really lovely pattern that just, you know, plays really nicely. You know, and you could add an extra note in there if you wanted to. Okay, I'm keeping it on the E's here. So I've added just a nice layer of complexity, and doing it in a way where, you know, I wouldn't have done that potentially in a completely different user environment, like a fairly boring looking piano roll, so to speak. So I've got those options there, which is really, really nice. And again, I've picked this sound in Pigments because it's just got this really unique tone, and it's one of my favorite sounds in the new Pigments. It's called Turbo Pluck. I mean, who couldn't love a sound called Turbo Pluck? Do you know what I mean? So ultimately, I've got, you know, I've tweaked it a little bit and got some, you know, envelopes going and stuff, but nominally it is the preset. But what I loved about it was just how it rolled and how it bounced. So you've got these really, you know, cool filters that I can open up, change the timbre. Different layers come into it. Which brings in the second layer of the sample, which is really cool. And it's got this kind of almost like sounding like it's gone through a guitar amp, because it's actually got a cabinet effect on it which comes with it. And you can change the decay. And just playing with these macros, just, you know, again, like if you watched our Arturia, you know, Analog Lab 5 stream from Tuesday, you'll know how powerful macros are in the Arturia line of plugins. And again, you know, really, really simple, but beautifully put together here in Pigments. So again, the combination of Hexcel and, you know, the Pigments here works really well. And again, what I can do is here, I can go through some of these for the annual, and they're great. And again, I've molded the drum machine samples around this as a kind of a starting point. But again, you'll hear some of the other sounds and how it works. So again, I can just hit open here, and again, you'll hear different. And what I'll do is, while I dial through these, I'll just throw the kick in. Just take that to the master. There we go. Great. And again, I'll just configure some of this in. Already got a really great, almost like a bass line there, you know? And again, we can throw the rest of the kit in there. It works really nicely. So you've got variation, right? You've got ideas. So the previous one that we just heard there, monotonous, what I've actually done is just use the transpose here to just tweak it up. And that's exactly what you hear. So actually it was an adaptation of the preset. And you can see as you transpose it, it changes the harmonic relationship between the different cells. So it works really beautifully. So you can very easily get things into a key that you're working with. And then the options just start to open up from there. And again, it's just great to be able to cycle through all these different elements and get different feels. And again, like this whole thing of just being incredibly immediate. I put this whole thing together in like an hour a couple of days ago when I knew I was doing this stream. And it's just, you know, it's so fun. Like, no more, like, looking at dry MIDI rolls or, you know, sat there looking at, like, a blank screen. It's just really fun and just allows you to get off and rolling very, very quickly and surprise yourself with what you can actually generate. Something a bit more acidic there, you know? And again, like, Hexcel will work with any plugin. So again, like, pairing it off with, like, you know, a really lovely 303 plugin would work really well. Like, you know, like a D16 for Scion, or, you know, Audio Damage Bassline 2, or, you know, whatever version number it's up to. You know, pick your acid plugin of choice, basically. Very, very nice. Very cool. Get really into that, almost like it's like a slightly faster version of like a Tale of Us sort of melodic techno kind of vibe. And again, like, we've kind of drifted off into other presets here, but again, I'd go back to the monotonous here and just tweak that down because it's a really nice thing. And I really liked some of these little variations that I put in. Taking the absolute basic drums for a ride. We can just mute some of these guys. Here we go. And again, in terms of what I'm doing to the sound to make it really work with this loop, a little bit of EQ, a little bit of side chain, actually a little bit of just regular compression. Again, I've got 2 compressors going on here. Little pro tip for you, you can use more than 1 compressor on your sound as long as they're doing different jobs. This one is just compressing and managing the peaks of the pigment sound, and this one is providing a bit of side chaining. Again, direct side chaining, very easy. I can just go to channel 7 here, which is where the kick is. So very, very, very cool. Only other thing I'm doing is just adding a little bit of delay here. Very, very nice.